Hey, my name is Noelle. I live with multiple mental disorders, and I want to talk about relationships and how they can be affected by OCD, ADHD, and borderline. I know that Valentine's Day can be really triggering for a lot of people, putting a lot of focus on their relationships. Borderline definitely affects me a lot more in my relationships, so I'm going to start there. Some of the things that can affect people would be the fear of abandonment, which is probably the number one trigger for a lot of people, and mood swings, intense anger, black and white thinking, which is also called splitting. So perceiving things as all good or all bad. And you can also think of like your partner as all bad or all good. Having like sensitivity to rejection, and also a reactivity to your partner's change in demeanor or like their attitude towards you. Any perceived slight can cause like really extreme emotions and spiraling. I mostly struggle with black and white thinking and emotional sensitivity. Like if I think that I'm being dismissed or maybe somebody has low energy, I will take that kind of personally, thinking that like my relationship isn't in a good place or my partner doesn't like me anymore, and struggling with like black or white thinking. So if like my partner does something bad or like wrong to me, I immediately put them on the bad side in my mind. So like they're just a bad person, then I can't trust them. I don't feel safe. I want to leave. I just want to not be around them. That's not a great response to arguments. I am very reactive. I'm definitely trying to work on that and just understanding like, hey, people get into arguments. It's okay. It's part of relationships, and you can work through those things and not feel that you need to leave immediately. It is very difficult to be in a relationship with borderline, and my thought process is, okay, if I were by myself, I wouldn't have to feel this way. I wouldn't have to get upset. I wouldn't have to cry or argue and be bothered by the turmoil that comes with relationships, which sounds really terrible. Like the first thing that I want to do is just like leave, because it would feel so much better for me to just have to regulate myself and not have to interact with another person. Relationships can be really difficult. Relationships are hard for neurotypical people. To do it with OCD or borderline or any other mental disorder layered on top of it, even depression, anxiety, anything can be affecting you and then also your relationships. I know it's hard, but I think it is worth it to find people that truly care about you. The suggestion that I have for people who are dating somebody with borderline, which I'll share, but it's definitely not therapist approved, and if you need professional help, please get it. In the argument, if it keeps going and going and this person's not like able to forgive in that moment, and you've tried everything to like explain your side, do not do that. Do not try to rationalize like what you did or try to explain your perspective on it. Taking really hard accountability is very helpful for borderline. So saying something like, I'm really sorry that I hurt you. I did something bad. I acted like a bad person, and I feel bad about that. I will not do that again, and I will make it up to you. Will you consider forgiving me in the future? It's very clear and very to the point. When you're splitting and when you are thinking of somebody as a bad person, you're not able to just make that switch to say, oh, okay, I forgive you, you're on the good side. It's going to take time for the emotions to regulate and all that. And so taking that like hard accountability and just saying like, will you consider forgiving me? And I think that question, phrasing it that way, is taking the pressure off of the person that has borderline. So they are not feeling well, they are having a panic attack on top of an argument. So most people can get out of the argument, say yes, I forgive you, and go about their day. People with borderline can't do that, and it's going to take time. So often saying like, I know that you're still mad, be mad, will you consider forgiving me? And when they say yes, then that's the opportunity to be comforting. So like bringing them like a drink or going to dinner, a hug or something to like show that you're there and show that you are a good person. And then you just kind of like prove it, and they will think, okay, I was having a lot of emotions. They are not a bad person. They made a mistake, and they're showing me that they are a good person. So it's kind of just like erasing the negative, owning it, taking accountability, and then replacing it with something good and replacing it with good emotions, because it almost like rewrites in their mind like, okay, this is a good person, I should trust them because these are the things that they do for me. Obviously not going to resolve every argument. Everybody is different and people are arguing about all sorts of things. So it's not going to work for everything, but if you are getting blamed for something and you know you could have done better, you're just saying these actions could be perceived as bad or by a bad person, but I'm going to prove to you that I am a good person. Logically, they know that you're a very good person and they want to be with you. But when somebody is splitting or they are having those moments of extreme emotion, they're not thinking logically and they're going with what they're feeling, and what they're feeling hurts a lot. And so you just kind of have to tend to that hurt and then get to a good place. Once somebody is in that full-blown like panic mode when they're arguing, it's about trying to keep them calm and understanding that they're not thinking rationally and they're not speaking to you rationally either. It has to be very direct, and that I think is the most effective way to work around arguments when somebody is having like a borderline episode within that argument. If you have borderline, you're going to act differently and think so much differently than other people, that just like verbalizing it and having those moments with your partners and just saying like, well, okay, I am acting this way because of this, and then sharing that is important because then you realize why you're triggered or what it is bringing up for you from the past. And then it's also helping the person that you're in the relationship with to understand why you might be in a really emotional state. But once you like realize the pattern, you're able to break it. Doing that and like learning about myself, learning about like why I'm acting a certain way or why I'm triggered, I think it's really helpful. And also just kind of like learning about borderline too, and knowing that like you're not overreacting, it's a disorder, you deserve love and you can have successful relationships. It's just working through some of those triggers, and then also like having a partner that understands that you're not going to probably argue like a normal person, you're going to argue like a person with borderline. And yes, we can work on it and work through it, but you're going to be a little bit different in your thought process and how you forgive and how you talk to people, and just having somebody that's willing to support you, and it will work, I promise. I do want to touch on relationship OCD, which is a super fun subtype of OCD, and there's a lot of different subtypes, but relationship OCD is a very specific way to like ruminate on relationships and to have anxiety about relationships. So some of the obsessions would be either relationship focused or partner focused, and The relationship focus would be things like, is this a healthy relationship? Is this the right relationship for me? Or like, do I even love my partner? Am I attracted to my partner? And that will like give you anxiety, and then you'll ruminate about it. The partner focus would be more like focusing on their behavior, focusing on their like morality, like how good of a person they are, or their appearance. Those are some of the obsessions. People are going to experience those differently, but then the compulsions to make you feel better would be like reaching out to people, asking for reassurance that you're in the right relationship, asking for reassurance that like that they're a good person and that you should be with them. So you're like constantly looking for reassurance. That's the compulsive part of OCD. The other compulsions would be like mentally checking, so like constantly evaluating like if you love them or if you're attracted to them, comparing them to other people or comparing them to previous partners. There's also a lot of people who have problems with avoidance. I have a problem with avoidance. I feel like I have commitment issues. So that would just be like avoiding closeness, or like letting yourself be open with people, being incredibly triggered by taking big steps, so like moving in with somebody, or engagement, or any talks of the future can be incredibly triggering. When people are too nice to me or too like romantic to me, I get super uncomfortable, and like I feel like it gives me even more anxiety, or like shows that they care about me. I get very like emotional. Yeah, I'm such a good partner. I don't know why anybody like wants to date me. Also, like I gravitate towards chaotic and intense relationships. I feel the most alive when I am in really chaotic relationships, and that's why I was with toxic people. Like when you're drawn to that, when you're drawn to like toxic people, it's because it's giving you the dopamine that you're craving, and it's just like it feels so good. To people who have a mind like this, somebody who has like ADHD and borderline, it is like fuel to me. And I don't like the calm, like settling feeling. And so I've always like dated really terrible people, because it's just intense and it's exciting. And that it sounds really strange, but a lot of people are like that. A lot of people will leave really good partners because they want that excitement, and it's not like the safe option, right? It's not the stable option. Majority of my issues is like trying to stay in a healthy relationship and not flee and go back to like really toxic people, because that's what my mind wants, you know. And when you crave chaos, that's just like part of it. Honestly, if any of these things are bothering you that much or disrupting your relationship, I definitely suggest going to see somebody professionally and just, you know, talking through them can help. ERP helps, which is like exposure response therapy, and just kind of like pushing through the anxiety and the uncomfortable feelings. The other thing I think is really helpful is just like being able to relate to somebody who also has it. And so the reason that I make these is because I feel so much better talking to somebody who has OCD or mental disorders that I can just relate to and know that like I'm not alone in the world, you know, because I don't have like close friends or anybody that I know that has it. I will see somebody talking about the same symptoms that I have, and Like, it just makes me immediately feel better knowing that I'm not alone. Like, there are other people in this world that are dealing with the exact same thing that I'm going through, and they're making it work. It just makes me feel so good. So honestly, like, the people that share their stories in the way that they are and bring awareness to OCD, I really am so grateful for them. And hopefully, eventually I can be that for somebody if I can connect on that level and just let somebody know, like, these are really common OCD symptoms and you're not crazy. It's a disorder, and the thoughts that you're having are causing anxiety on purpose. Something that's really important to you, your mind will create a way to have anxiety around it. And so I want to get to a place where, hopefully I can share some of these things that I deal with, and if somebody can relate to them and feel better. That's the goal. That, if you are single or in a relationship, it is important to take care of yourself and show yourself kindness. I have a really hard time doing that. I am not nice to myself. So I am working on that as well. Whatever way that you can show yourself love, I think that it is a great step in the right direction. If you have any questions, let me know. And thank you for watching.